Okay, so you want some basic Excel. Excel obviously being our spreadsheet. So here it is. This is what it looks like. A big table with the alphabet going along here and a bunch of numbers going down here. This was actually one of the original computer applications. The first application software was this. Why? Because all it really is a kind of massive programmable calculator. And I think the more you'll learn about it, the more you'll realize just what potential of making your life easier it has. So this video is just really about just the basics of stuff. So we're going to start right here with what's going on here in this corner here, or even down here. Each one of these little boxes is called a cell, right? And a cell is always in a column and a row. Yeah, columns have letters, rows have numbers. So with a letter and a number, you can then give a reference to a cell. So for example, this is D4, okay, over here, F9 and such like. And that's written up here in this name box, okay. So every cell has a reference. Now that's really quite important because what you need to imagine these cells like is like little programmable boxes. And inside that box you can put really one of three things. You can put a piece of text like that, or you could put a number, like for example if you're working out a grade or something, you might put in, you know, a number like this. Yeah, so here we have a little spreadsheet that records students' grades. There you go, I got a 6, or P for me. I might put in a few more letters and show you the third thing. There we go, I've got my grade book there, so now it's not just me getting a grade, but also a whole bunch of other students. And as you can see, here is the text in all of those cells, and here's the number. So I'm looking up here, right? Because this little thing here, this formula bar, is what tells you what's actually inside that cell. Okay, more on that in a second. Anyway, so here's a bunch of data. Now, one little thing we'll notice here is that this piece of text doesn't fully appear up here, and that's just one little addition that we need to just do. And if I double click that cell boundary, that column boundary there, double click, it springs out to be perfectly sized to fit in the biggest thing, or I can just drag it back and forward if I want to make it a specific size. And I've got all the usual sort of features to make it look pretty, putting stuff in the center, making stuff bold and all that stuff. But why I set this up was to show you the third thing, apart from text and numbers, that you can put into a cell, and that is a formula. Formulas always start with the equal sign, okay? And then you say what, you're saying what this cell equals. So in other words, you're saying what B8 equals. You're saying B8 equals something, a calculation, okay? I could put in just some numbers, 1 plus 1. Okay, and that's going to then show me what B8 equals. Let me zoom in on that. I don't know why I didn't do that before. There we go, so you can see that a bit more clearly. Okay, so that is the formula, equals B8 equals 1 plus 1, and that's the answer here. But I can do even better. I could add up all of these grades, equals this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this. And when I do that, you can notice down here that it's putting in the cell addresses. Now, why is that good? Not that I'd ever want to add up all these grades, but let's just say I did. Why is that good? Because it's not actually adding up 4, 6, 3, 7, 2, 6. It's adding up whatever's in those cells. So if whatever's in those cells changes, let's say Marge didn't get 6, she got a 2, then that formula recalculates. So in that sense, it's programmable. And it's that feature, that ability that to create a formula that depends on whatever number happens to be in that cell. That's what we're going to use for modeling, okay, because that's going to let us test out lots of different possibilities. So let's put this formula in here that makes a little bit more sense. What this kind of formula is called a function and range formula. Okay, a function, because this is a function, just like on your graphical calculators here. I'll put it in properly. There we go. There's the function average, and it tells you what it does. It returns the average of something. Of what? Well, of a range. Okay, and so I'm going to put in the range, which is from B2 to B7. Okay, so can you see how I've done that? From B2 to B7, B2 colon B7, and put that range in brackets there. Okay, that then has worked out the average formula. Handy, right? Now, let's try that, changing those values again. Lisa, yeah, I don't think you did so well in this test. You only got a 1. Watch what happens to the average. See? Recalculates. Okay? So, that shows you cell addresses, really important, fundamental. Make sure you know how to get to something. If I told you put something in cell F7, make sure you know what that means. And what goes in those cells, text, number, and formulas. And I also showed you a couple of different kinds of formulas, just a regular formula and then this formula, which is the function and range formula. Okay. There we go. On to the next video.